Now, the military junta in Myanmar, first it was jailing its critics, now it is executing them. Last Saturday, at least 4 political prisoners were hanged to death in Myanmar. The executions have triggered criticism from ASEAN countries to America to the United Nations. They're all condemning the junta's actions, asking the world to boycott them completely. How does this put India in a tough spot? Our next report tells you.
These images are from Yangon, a city constantly on the boil. For the last 1 year, Yangon has been in the grip of pro-democracy protests. Demonstrations against the rule of the military junta. This week, the protests grew bigger. The reason is this. Last Saturday, the junta executed 4 of its critics. It hanged them to death for their activism. This includes Pheu Zayathaw, a 41-year-old former lawmaker in Aung San Suu Kyi's government. Kya Min Yu, a 53-year-old prominent veteran pro-democracy activist, and La Mu Aung and Aung Thura Zaw, 2 protesters accused of killing a junta informer. Their deaths mark the first executions in Myanmar since 1988. They've been met with a wave of condemnation globally. Malaysia has called them a mockery of the ASEAN peace plan.
It takes place about less than 2 weeks after the special envoy visited Naypyidaw and just about a week before the ASEAN foreign ministers meeting in Phnom Penh. So we look at it that as if the junta is making a mockery of the 5-point consensus.
America has asked countries to stop doing business with the junta.
We underscore that with the escalating violence, with these horrific atrocities that the junta has carried out, there can be no business as usual with this regime.
And the United Nations says it's worried about what would follow.
I am afraid that even more floodgates are now opening, and that there is even going to be less restraint on the part of the junta to continue its attacks on the people of Myanmar and to try to instill fear, even more fear in the population.
There are demonstrations against the executions from Bangkok to Tokyo. Hundreds have hit the streets in protest. But back in Myanmar, the junta remains firm on its stance. It says the killings were lawful, not personal.
These criminals were given the chance to defend themselves. The verdict of the trial were based on eyewitnesses and facts.
Such statements will not only isolate the junta further, they will also pose a dilemma for nations engaging with it. Most countries in South Asia have been talking to the junta. They're trying to persuade the generals to transition to democracy. India is one of them. Given its security concerns in Northeast and China's growing footprint in Myanmar, India chose to engage with the junta. It pushed for a return to democracy. But the way things are going in Myanmar, India, along with other ASEAN countries, could soon face pressure to take a harder line.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.